Hi everyone, this is Keric. This practice focuses on headstand and it's really geared towards beginners. So if you already have a good headstand practice and you can go up and balance in the middle of the room with no problem, this is maybe going to be review for you, or it's going to be a little on the basic side. So I highly encourage you to move up against a wall if you're brand new to this so that you are not falling over. If you have the corner of a room to practice in, I like to do the headstands in the corner of the room. That way, if you're in the corner, you can't really fall to the left or the right because both sides of the corner of the room will catch you. If you're just up against a flat wall, you could fall left or right. So find that space, either a wall or the corner of the room. You can do this in the middle of the room if you want. That's fine too. But I do want you to have the option of the safety of the wall. We're not only going to do headstands, we're going to do a full practice here. So let's start in downward facing dog. The great thing about the inversions, they do a lot of great things for us. Physically, you engage the neck, the shoulders, and the upper back. And you really have to engage those muscles in a way that pull you into good alignment. Walk your feet forward to a forward bend. When you're in a proper headstand, it engages those muscles in a way that pulls you into good alignment. So it can improve posture. It can help strengthen muscles that are often very weak from sitting at a desk or maybe even from doing repetitive motions in sports. Inhale to lengthen, reach your heart forward. Exhale to fold. 2 more times. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. So we'll work on a couple of actions. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to fold that we'll need in the inversion, in the headstand. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale, draw your hands to your heart. And we'll get a little bit warmed up too. Inhale, sweep the arms, reach up. Exhale to fold, touch the ground. Inhale and reach your heart forward. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Lower to the bottom of the push-up. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. So the main actions that we'll work on are getting the head of the arm bones back, hugging the middle with the entire body, and then finally really extending, stretching in the pose, which, you might not think that stretching is important to headstand, but it is. Really getting extension in the pose is key to doing a proper headstand. Walk your feet into a forward bend. Inhale to lengthen, reach your heart forward. Exhale to fold, steady your feet. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's just do 2 more sun salutations. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step back to plank. Take a breath in. Lower to the bottom of the push-up. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to down dog. Look forward, bend your knees, walk or hop your feet to the front of the mat. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold, steady feet. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's just do 1 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Plant the hands, step back plank. Lower to the bottom of the push-up. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to down dog. All right, pause here in down dog. From your heart, push out through your hands. And from your heart, lift back through your hips. So actively stretch from the heart out through the hands, forward. And then from the heart back through the hips, lengthen. Good. And then look forward. Please step your left foot forward between your hands. Pause in a long lunge. Okay, so the ability to hug in is key to keeping the balance in headstand. In general, especially if you're using the wall, you're not really going to fall forward or back. The wall is going to prevent you from falling back. So really, there's this balance issue from side to side. And the way that we contend with the balance is by squeezing the middle. So squeeze your lower legs in, hug your shins in, and bend the front knee to a square. Inhale and stretch your arms up. So I'm practicing the action of squeezing the middle in my standing pose so that my headstand gets better. All right, so squeeze your lower legs towards the middle of the mat and squeeze your forearms towards the middle of the mat. Hold the center line. So the strategy for balancing in the lunge is really the same as the strategy for balancing in the headstand. Squeeze the center line, stretch your legs, and lift up through your chest. One more breath. And then both hands to the ground. Step both feet up and take your left leg back. Pause in a long lunge, and then build the energy of squeezing your shins in. Poke your hips back. Inhale and stretch your arms up. Now, in addition to squeezing the middle, forearms and shins, also stretch your legs and stretch up through your arms. Okay, so now the stretch is just as important as the ability to squeeze in this pose and in the headstand. All right, so hug your legs, hug your forearms in. From your hips, push down into your feet, root down. From your hips, lift up through your chest and stretch long. Make your spine long, stretch the whole pose tall. One more breath. And hands to the ground. Step both feet forward, forward bend. Keep your feet about hip width apart. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Weave your fingers together. Interlace them. Squeeze your forearms and your shins in, okay? And then that's that same action of hugging the midline, squeezing in. Widen your hips and your shoulders out. Reach your hands high over your head. Reach your head low, lift your sit bones high. Good, now keep the actions of the shins and the forearms squeezing in. Keep the action of widening your hips and your shoulders out. Now reach the hands high and start to draw them forward over your head. Use your breath. So on the inhales, inflate the upper body. On the exhales, reach your hands farther forward. Just take one more breath here. Reach the hands high, reach the heart low. And then release your hands to the ground and walk back to plank. Lower your forearms to the ground. Interlace your fingers and put your elbows down. Keep your hips and thighs lifted. As you set up your elbows, cross your arms and grab opposite elbows. You should be able to touch the opposite elbows with your fingertips. And then take the hands back to interlaced. This is about the setup that we're going to use for one of the headstands that we're going to do. We're going to do two of them. So as I look at my hands and elbows, they are the three corners of an equilateral triangle. So it's roughly the same distance between my elbows and my hands and each of my elbows to each other, okay? Set up there. Soften your heart forward towards the ground, but keep your rib cage pulled in and up. Lift your thighs back or towards the ceiling and stretch your heels back. So we're really kind of practicing the headstand actions here. Hug your elbows in, squeeze your shoulder blades onto your back, even hug your legs in. If you want, you can bring your feet all the way together and squeeze them together. Right? And that's the lateral to medial contraction holding the balance in headstand. So imagine that you're in headstand right now. Soften your heart forward, but keep your rib cage pulled up. That's going to be a key action, and that's why we're doing this short plank pose, okay? Rib cage in and up. When your core is engaged, pull your belly button into your spine as well as your rib cage up. When your core is engaged, you're going to be able to balance much more easily. If you soften your belly right now, your hips will sag, your belly will go down, and then you can feel it. Like I start to shake when I release my hips and I release my abs. Right, so I pull it up, and I'm much more stable. Right, keep the thighs lifted, keep the rib cage lifted, let the heart be soft. Right, we're going to do the same action when we're upside down in a little bit. All right, place the hands, push back to down dog. Let's do one more standing pose. Step your left foot forward and spin your right heel flat. And then come on up to, let's just do a warrior two. Bend the front knee over your heel and straighten the back leg. Here's the shoulder opener. Bend your elbow and use your left hand to pat yourself on the upper back. Use your right hand to pull the elbow behind your head. And then from here, draw your armpit back, okay? And then push your head into your arm. Okay, these are going to be similar actions I'm going to ask you to do in the headstand. Pull the armpit back. So like you can see I'm hollowing out the armpit. I'm trying to root it back so the head of the arm bone roots into the socket. All right, keep that. Keep your rib cage pulled in. Again, that's going to be important when we're upside down, so the core stays engaged. Rib cage in, armpit back. Now push your head into your arm, side bend to the back of the mat. Look up. All right, inhale to stand. Turn the front foot in, turn the back foot out. We'll just do the same pose to the other side. All right, so take the opposite hand up, elbow behind the head, bend the front knee. All right, now again, it's like you're sucking the armpit back. Okay, pull it back, like you're vacuum sealing it back. And then the forearm goes behind the head. Push your head into your arm to open the shoulder. But then if the rib cage lifts up, you're taking it into a back bend. When we're upside down, when we're in the headstand, we don't want to be in the back bend. So keep the rib cage in, push your head into your forearm, and then side bend towards the back of the mat. Stretch all the muscles on the side of the body here. So we want this to be nice and open so that it's easy to take the arms over the head in the headstand. All right, one more breath. Inhale, straighten the front leg, straighten the arms. Okay, turn both feet in. Heel toe your feet together. All right, let's do this. Let's do the headstand. We'll start on all fours, hands and knees. Set your hands about shoulder width apart, so the center of my shoulder is lined up with the center of my wrist, okay? It's maybe a little bit narrower than my down dog, then I would set up my hands for down dog. And then my head is the third point in an equilateral triangle, which means that the distance between my hands, side to side, is equal to the distance between my hands and my head, the third point in the triangle. So you have 1, 2, 3, okay? So hands down. So my head needs to go right about here. If my head is too close to my hands, I'm not going to have an even base. It's going to be too narrow. Or if my head is too far forward, it's also going to distort that base. So I want to put my hands in that sweet spot, or my head down in the sweet spot. You should be able to see all 10 fingertips. So I can, without turning my head, please don't turn your head, okay? Point your nose forward. I can just kind of look left and look right with my eyes, and I can see all 10 fingertips. Okay, from here, lift your knees up. This is stage 1. Now, from your elbows, draw back into your shoulders. So plug the arm bones into the sockets, make the armpits hollow. Press the base of your chest forward so that you roll more towards your forehead. Okay, so not this rounded in the back, but instead push so you can think about pushing your heart forward. You can also think about pushing C7, which is a very specific place. If you run your fingers down the back of your neck, and you'll feel a bone sticking out at the base of your neck. Okay, that's C7. There are 7 vertebrae going down. The 7th one sticks out. Okay, C7 sticks out. So you can think about pushing C7 forward when you're in the headstand. Okay, you can also think about pushing your heart forward, but if you want to get really technical, C7 is probably the better place to push forward. All right, hands and head make the triangle. So I draw my elbows back and I push C7 forward. Okay, so head of the arm bones back, shoulders back. I'm squeezing the middle. And then this is stage 1. Okay, you don't even have to lift your feet off the ground. I'm upside down. My heart is over my head. And I can just practice like lifting my hips up high, high, high. I can even draw my hips back and so my feet pull in. But I keep pushing C7 forward, my heart forward, and drawing my shoulders back. Here's the next stage. So if this feels pretty good, you can try putting one kneecap. I'll do this side so you can see. Put your kneecap on your tricep above your elbow. So not down here. That's not going to work. It's got to go above. All right, and then you can try the other side. This will be our stage 2. Okay, so stage 1, both feet on the ground. Stage 2, 1 foot off the ground, 1 foot on. Stage 3, you're going to be in a true headstand, kneecaps on the upper arms, and then feet touch. And to start, you can start with your feet really low. So if you're worried about falling, just fall back onto your feet, step down, okay? But if you're feeling pretty good, you can take the heels up. All right, from here, okay, so armpits back, C7 forward, or heart, however you want to think about it. Pull your feet up. Right, and then from here, you can practice maybe, again, you might be up against the wall or in the corner of the room. From here, I can lift one leg up. Right? I don't even have to lift it that high. I can lift up to here. Okay. I can try lifting both knees up and bouncing here. Now, this takes a lot of core work. I have to use my abs a lot. I feel like I'm doing an ab exercise. When my knees are rested, I don't have to work as hard. I'm going to come down. You can too. Okay. So the key actions, okay, once we go up, and we're going to go all the way up in a second, remember to squeeze the middle, okay? Like fuse your legs together, squeeze your shoulder blades onto your back. Watch your elbows. The elbows will tend to flare out. Squeeze your elbows in. Okay, so all of those actions are squeezing the middle. Remember to keep the arms back in the sockets. As they come forward, your upper back's going to round, and it's going to destabilize the pose. Okay, so imagine I'm upside down. From my elbows, I want to pull back into the shoulder sockets. Okay, so arm bones back, squeeze the middle, and then the last thing, once you get into the full pose, actually, even before you get into a full headstand, think about stretching from your upper palate, which is the roof of your mouth. You're going to stretch down into the ground, like push the top of your head down, and then you're going to stretch from your upper palate up through whatever is the tallest part of your pose. So let's go back. If I'm here with my feet on the ground, my stretch is from my upper palate, I push my head down, and then from my upper palate, I lift my butt up. If I'm here, kneecaps up, I push my head down, and then from the upper palate, I lift my butt up higher. All right, if I take it to legs up, now the extension is from the roof of my mouth down into my head and my hands and up through my heels. So I want to stretch really long. Keep your rib cage pulled in. All right, so if you lose the rib cage, it looks like this. You move into a back bend. So hard to hold. It makes my arms work harder. So I pull my rib cage in to stabilize the pose. All right, so hug the middle, keep the rib cage pulled in, keep the shoulders back, and extend. Okay, those are some of the key actions to doing the pose. And you can focus on one or two or three, maybe even all four when you're up in the pose. Again, use the wall as needed. Okay, second headstand today, fingers interlaced and forearms down. We did this position in the plank. Now you're just on all fours or on your knees. Okay, so elbows, again, you should be able to grab opposite elbows with your hands. Fingers interlaced. Push your wrists down. So the tendency will often be the wrists will rise up and you'll see like daylight coming through my wrists. So I want to push the wrists down, keep them anchored to the floor. Right? And then my thumbs support my head. So I'm going to squeeze my thumbs into the back of my head. So my head is down inside my hands and the back of my head is touching the base of my thumbs. And then I squeeze the base of my thumbs into my head so that my hands are supporting my head. If my wrists bow out or they fall out, if my wrists do this, then that's not going to be supported for my head. So I need to squeeze my wrists in and keep my wrists straight. Alternatively, you can squeeze your palms all the way together. That will also support your head. Okay, so head down, elbows shoulder width apart. Okay, this is a little more challenging in that you don't have the option, like in headstand, this is headstand 2, by the way. In headstand 2, you have this option, this intermediate step. You don't really have that in headstand 1, and that's why I taught you headstand 2 first. All right, so elbows down, knees up. So you just have this stage, practicing, pushing C7 forward, squeezing the elbows in, squeezing the legs together. I can tiptoe my feet in and lift my hips up high. The stretch comes from pushing my head down and lifting my hips up. All right, now here's some options to practice going up. I can lift one leg up and balance. You can try the other side. You can try kicking up to the wall if you'd like, but this is just an intermediate step. Another little baby step. This is tough. I can try to like do a little bunny hop and pull my legs up to here and just bounce here. What I like about this is I don't feel like I am completely off the ground in the headstand. Like if I fall, I can really just come back to here, right? As opposed to when my legs are straight above my head, it's just a longer way to come down. It's just a further distance to come down. So you can try this. So you can do a little bunny hop. Now, I have to engage and pull in with my core to lift my hips up. The lift in my hips comes from pulling my rib cage in, pulling my belly button in. It's really the same action if you let your hips go down and your belly relax, and then you pull up here. So you can practice that plank, low plank, pull up. Those same muscles, I have to engage those same muscles to pull myself into the headstand. So little bunny hop, I pull my core in to lift my hips up. All right, and then from here, maybe straightening the legs. Again, be careful not to relax the belly because this will tend to happen. All right, so I want to pull my core in, pull my rib cage in, I pull my belly button in. Squeeze the middle with your legs and your elbows. Squeeze the middle with your shoulder blades. Draw the head of the arm bones back, like energetically pull your armpits back. Push C7 forward. And then from your upper palate, push down through your head. From your upper palate, push up through your heels. Stretch long. When you're ready, come down. So if you're brand new to headstand, I suggest going up for just a few breaths, maybe, I don't know, depending, well, let's call it like 3 to 5 breaths to start. And then if you're comfortable and you come down and your neck feels good, then you can try going up again for another 3 to 5 breaths. How long can you stay up in headstand? I get that question all the time. You can stay up as long as you like, but as soon as your neck starts to get tired, before your neck starts to get tired, you need to come down. Okay, so just start slowly and then gradually build up over time. I know people who can do headstands for a very long time, like 10 minutes or more, and that's not even that very long. There are people who can do headstands for, quite literally like a half hour or an hour or something. But don't do that on the first time out. Just take a few breaths in headstand, get comfortable, make sure that you're working on all those alignment points, all those actions, and make sure you're getting comfortable with those actions. And then over time, you can increase your time in the headstand and hopefully start to move a little bit farther and farther from the wall, and maybe you even get comfortable in the middle of the room. Please remember to do all of those actions, though, at all times. If you start to relax too much in the headstand, or you get so tired that you can't hold the actions, you're in a very vulnerable position on your head. Okay? When you're active, you're in a very safe position. Okay. All right. Let's stretch out just a little bit. Let's take child's pose. Reach your arms forward and put your head down. Stretch your arms, and then lift your arms up. Push your heart towards the floor. And stretch. Stretch long. Push your hips back. Reach your hands forward. Come onto all fours. Sit for a moment. And cross your left elbow over your right. Just cross the arms. And then widen across your upper back. Stretch the upper back. Draw your head back and lift your chest. Maybe double wrap the arms. Stretch across the upper back. And then switch sides. Wrap the arms the other way, so the other elbow on top. Again, you can double wrap the hands. You don't have to. You could just pause here. Widen your upper back as you squeeze your arms together. And then let the upper back broaden and stretch. All right, and then place your hands by your hips. Just come onto your fingertips, root your hands down, and then lift your chest up. Draw your head and your shoulders back. Stretch across the upper chest, and lay your head back just a little bit. Keep the tone in the back of the neck, so you're not letting your neck drop all the way back. Keep the neck strong and lift your chest. Inhale to the middle. Place your left hand to the outside of your head on the right side, and just gently put pressure on the outside of your head, but push your head into your hand. So resist the stretch by pushing your head into your hand, and then at the same time pull on your head. So you're not just pulling with everything that you have with the neck relaxed. Engage the neck, resist, push your head up and out while you use your hand to pull your head the other way. With the opposite hand, you can reach down towards the ground, and you're stretching the side of your neck. But please be careful here. Stretch the side of your neck while keeping the neck engaged. Push your head into your hand, and then pull on the head. Then turn your nose down towards your right knee. And then move your hand slightly back to the back right corner of your head. And you're going to pull your head towards the left knee. You're going to stretch the side back of the neck. Inhale to come up. And then switch sides. Stretch the left arm out to the left. Use the right hand on the outside of your head. Resist the stretch. Push your head to the left. Pull your head to the right. Pull your head to the right with your hand. Push your head to the left with the muscles in your neck. And then get a nice stretch, but a strong stretch. Okay, so you're engaged in the stretch. It's not passive. All right, and then turn your nose down and a little bit towards your left knee. And then move your hand, the one that's on your head, a little bit farther back, so you're at the back corner of the head, and then you're pulling your head towards your left knee. Stretch the back side muscles in the neck. Okay, inhale back to the middle. One more thing, lie on your back. Bend your knees, place your feet flat, set your heels under your knees, and then just point your fingers to the sky with your palms facing each other. And then just really actively pin your shoulders to the ground and push the back of your head straight into the ground. And you'll feel your neck arch away from the floor. Push your head and your shoulders down enough to release your neck, not so much that you feel tension in the neck. Okay, so pin the shoulders, push your head into the ground. The back of the neck arches and releases. A couple of breaths. If you'd like to move into a Shavasana and rest, stretch your legs long and reach your arms out to the sides. Otherwise, this concludes this practice. Just kind of the basics of headstand. Remember that you can do this up against a wall. You don't have to be in the middle of the room. Okay, thank you for practicing with me. I'll see you next time.